Welcome to this deep dive. Today we're going to be tackling something I know you've been thinking a lot about. Faith, endurance, and what it actually means to live boldly.
Big topic.
Huge topics.
Yeah.
And we're going to be exploring these by taking excerpts from a source called Faith, Endurance, and Living Boldly, Hebrews 11:13 explained.
Okay.
So get ready to really dive deep into these concepts. And just imagine, like, a hall of fame or a hall of faith,
Oh, wow.
filled with everyday people who accomplished extraordinary things. That's where we're headed,
Right.
right into the book of Hebrews, chapters 11 through 13.
It's a powerful section of scripture. It's packed with timeless wisdom, and it still resonates today.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And let's just start right away with that hall of faith concept in Hebrews chapter 11. It kicks off right at the beginning with a definition of faith that's so simple,
Yeah.
yet profound at the same time. It says, confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see.
Huh.
It's not about blind belief, right?
Not at all. No. Think of faith like a mental muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it gets,
Yeah.
allowing you to achieve things you never thought possible. It's that confident expectation, that deep inner knowing that fueled the actions of all these incredible people profiled in Hebrews 11.
Yeah.
Abel, Enoch, Noah, Abraham, Sarah, Moses. They all faced seemingly impossible situations, yet they persevered because their faith was unshakable.
They really did. Like, take Abraham, for example.
Yes.
He left his home, like his comfort zone, everything he knew, to follow God's call. And it wasn't like he had a map or a GPS.
Right.
Just a deep trust that he was headed in the right direction. It's like that entrepreneur who risks everything to launch a startup. That's the kind of bold faith Abraham exemplifies. And it's something I think we can all tap into.
Absolutely. And then you've got Moses. He could have just stayed in that Egyptian palace, enjoyed a life of luxury and ease.
Yeah.
But he chose to stand with his people, facing hardship, persecution, because his faith was rooted in something far greater than personal comfort.
It really makes you think, doesn't it?
It does.
Like, what are we willing to sacrifice for what we truly believe in?
Yeah.
What impossible situation are you facing right now? And how might reflecting on these examples from Abraham and Moses and all the others, how might reflecting on these examples help you navigate that situation? These stories from the Hall of Faith are so inspiring.
Yeah.
But faith isn't just a one-time thing, right?
No.
It takes something more. Endurance.
Yeah.
And that's where Hebrews 12 comes in.
Hebrews 12 uses the imagery of a race to talk about endurance. It says, "Let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of faith." Life can feel like a marathon sometimes.
Oh, tell me about it.
Can't it? We
Yeah.
need that resilience, that inner drive to keep going even when we hit those inevitable walls. But this verse, it reminds us that we're not running aimlessly, right?
Yeah.
We have a goal, a purpose. And Jesus is both our guide and our source of strength.
I love this idea of fixing our eyes on Jesus. It's such a powerful image. It's like having a compass that's always pointing us in the right direction, even when the terrain is rough.
And even with that compass, the terrain can be challenging. Hebrews 12 also talks about trials as discipline from a loving father. That can be a tough concept to grasp.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, let's be honest.
It can be easy to feel resentful when we're going through those tough times.
Yeah.
But are you saying there's a different way to look at it?
What's fascinating here is the way Hebrews reframes this whole concept of discipline.
Okay.
It's not about punishment, but about refinement. It's like learning to play a musical instrument.
Yeah, okay.
It's tough at first, but the discipline, it leads to beautiful music.
So those challenges we face, those setbacks and obstacles, they're actually opportunities for growth. Are you allowing yourself to be refined by challenges, or are you resisting the process? So we've been exploring these ideas of faith and endurance,
Yeah.
and how they can help us face challenges with a new perspective. But there's another piece to this whole puzzle we need to unpack. Bold living.
Yeah.
Hebrews 13 offers some really practical advice on how to put these beliefs into action.
It's like a blueprint almost for living with integrity, for building a life that reflects our deepest values.
Mm-hmm.
It talks about loving one another authentically, honoring the commitments we make, being content with what we have, and remembering those who have guided and supported us along the way.
Yeah.
These aren't just rules, though.
Right.
They're like these interconnected principles for a strong and ethical life.
It's like building a house.
Exactly.
They need that solid foundation of values to support everything else.
Yeah.
But Hebrews 13 also emphasizes something that can be particularly challenging, like offering a sacrifice of praise even in difficult times.
Oh, yeah.
How do we cultivate gratitude when we're facing those, impossible situations?
I think it's important to remember that it's not about denying our feelings or pretending that everything is perfect. It's about recognizing that even in the midst of our struggles, there's still so much to be thankful for. It's like those wildflowers that manage to bloom even in the cracks of a sidewalk.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're a reminder that beauty and resilience can exist in the most unexpected places.
I love that analogy. It's about training our minds to see those small blessings, those glimmers of light, even when we're surrounded by darkness. Have you ever noticed how just focusing on those small blessings can actually shift your entire outlook?
It's incredibly powerful. It's about choosing to focus on what we have rather than what we lack. And, there are some practical things we can do to cultivate that spirit of gratitude in our daily lives.
Like what? Give us some tips.
Well, keeping a gratitude journal is a great place to start. Taking just a few minutes each day to write down things you're thankful for can have a profound impact.
Yeah.
Another powerful practice is incorporating gratitude into your conversations. Instead of dwelling on what's wrong, try sharing something positive with a friend or loved one.
It's like we're creating this ripple effect of positivity.
Mm.
And speaking of reframing our perspective, we were talking earlier about challenges as opportunities for growth. What if we approach them with a sense of curiosity?
Absolutely. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me, ask, what is this experience teaching me?
Right.
What can I learn from this?
Yeah. I've heard it said that sometimes our greatest trials become our greatest teachers. It's about recognizing that growth often happens outside of our comfort zones. So we're talking about facing challenges with a spirit of acceptance, even curiosity rather than resistance.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that life is a journey, and that journey will inevitably include ups and downs. The key is to navigate those challenges with grace, with courage, and with a willingness to learn and grow along the way.
There's so much wisdom packed into these chapters of Hebrews. And while we've covered a lot of ground today, I feel like we've only just scratched the surface. Let's continue this fascinating deep dive in just a moment. We've covered so much ground in this deep dive,
Into faith.
endurance and bold living.
We have.
From those incredible stories in the Hall of Faith to practical tips on cultivating gratitude, this journey through Hebrews 11:13 has been so insightful. But there's one question that's really stuck with me. What would it look like to add our own names to that Hall of Faith?
That's a powerful question, isn't it? Hebrews 11 isn't just like a historical record, it's an invitation.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
We're called to become a part of that ongoing narrative of faith and courage.
So it's not just about admiring these figures from the past. It's about emulating their example.
Yes.
Living out our own stories of faith and endurance in our own unique circumstances.
Exactly. We each have this unique set of gifts, experiences, and challenges.
Yeah.
And it's within those unique contexts that we're called to live out our faith boldly.
I love that. It's not about trying to become some kind of carbon copy of Abraham or Moses. It's about discovering our own path, our own way of expressing our faith in the world. But where do we even begin?
I think it starts with just identifying your core values. What do you believe in? What values are so important to you that you'd be willing to stand up for them even in the face of opposition?
It's about knowing those non-negotiables, those guiding principles that shape our decisions and actions.
Yeah. Once you have a clear sense of what you stand for, then you can start to live in alignment with those values. You can make choices that reflect your beliefs even when those choices are difficult.
That takes courage, doesn't it? To stand firm in your beliefs, especially when they might not be popular or widely accepted.
True courage isn't like the absence of fear, though. It's about acting in spite of fear. It's about choosing to do what's right even when it's hard, even when it feels risky.
Right.
And that's where faith and endurance come into play.
Yeah.
We need that deep-seated trust in something bigger than ourselves to give us the strength to keep going, even when we're facing opposition or uncertainty. Remember that image from Hebrews 12, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of our faith? He's like the ultimate example of bold living.
He faced unimaginable opposition. Yet he never wavered in his commitment to truth and love. It's like he's setting the pace for us, showing us what's possible when we choose to live in alignment with our deepest values. If we were to add our own names to that Hall of Faith, what would our stories of faith and endurance look like?
It's a good question.
What unique challenges are we facing right now? What opportunities do we have to make a positive impact?
Those are the questions I hope you'll continue to ponder long after this deep dive is over. What legacy do you want to leave behind?
Yeah.
How can you use your unique gifts, your experiences, your voice to make a difference in the world?
What a powerful and inspiring challenge. You don't have to have all the answers or have it all figured out. Just take one step at a time, trust in the process, and keep your eyes fixed on the one who guides our steps.
A huge thank you to you for sharing your insights with us today. And to you listening, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Hebrews 11:13. We hope you've been inspired and encouraged to live out your own story of faith, endurance, and bold